I think it's a matter of taking a leap of faith. Immerse yourself in your passions. And go after it, like with all of your heart. Wow, this is amazing. My name is Chris Shontz. I started out in the late 90s as a recreational off-road enthusiast. I just had a Jeep, a lift kit, and I went trail riding. Eventually it got to the point where the circuitous trails, just chasing obstacles, became a little bit repetitive. I discovered that my interest was more so exploring trails and not knowing where they lead. If there's an obstacle on them, it's a challenge that needs to be overcome, then that's fantastic. But my main drive was discovery of new places. I began a circuit around the country. I went from Pennsylvania down a southerly arc to Texas, up into Arizona, Utah, Southern California, up into Oregon, and then back across to Pennsylvania. And all in all, the journey took 6 months, and I drove 17,000 miles. I saw a lot, I collected a lot of experiences, and honestly, that changed my life. I learned how to live simply. I learned how to sustain myself on the go. I found my passions, and that included overland travel and just constant exploration, adventure, mobile living, and I can't stop. It's addicting. The horizon is addicting, and once you go and experience all that, I don't think there's any coming back from that. The scariest moment, the moment that I knew I was in trouble, was in Big Bend National Park. I drove into the desert on one of their most rugged four-wheel drive roads, and it had just recently rained all day in the desert, just days before. The day that I went, it was sunny, but 2 days before, it was raining steadily. So in the desert, that changes the geography dramatically. Mud washes over the road in numerous locations, and in one spot, I didn't have any trouble for miles along this road. And then one spot, I drove in through a patch of mud, and my Jeep slowed down to a stop in the middle of the desert, and it got bogged down. I was alone. I was not around any cell service whatsoever, and I had to figure out a way out. So when you're in that type of situation and your Jeep is bogged down, you do not keep just gunning the gas, spinning the tires. That's just going to dig you deeper in. You stop, you reverse course, you evaluate the situation. What I did was I put on swim trunks and I climbed under the Jeep in the mud, and just with using my whole upper body as a shovel, I scooped mud out from underneath the Jeep to clear a path. And then in addition to that, I put river rocks that I found nearby underneath the tires, and after about 2 hours of working in the desert, I was able to free the Jeep. I did have an exit strategy. I had a Garmin InReach personal locator beacons with an SOS button that if it was a life-threatening situation, I could have hit that button and someone would have ultimately rescued me. I managed to self-extract, but that was a little bit too close to comfort for a dangerous situation. I think one really important aspect of adventure is to take time to focus on the places in between. A lot of adventurers, overlanders, travelers, backpackers, explorers, they choose a destination. And I encourage you or anyone to pick a direction and not a destination, and within that direction just closely examine, spend time in the places that you discover along the way, I think that you'll find that that's an extremely rewarding experience because there's a lot of places that are lesser known that have so much to offer. Venture4WD on Instagram. I post regular photographic content on there, and my YouTube channel is of the same name, Venture4WD. So I'm still posting weekly videos on YouTube, just a compilation of my experiences for the week. They're very raw, they're very casual, but they're sincere, and I invite you to follow along.